life still takes us there, but it's
It takes us
through a
there.
different route. So I think I'd rather flow with life rather than be on the other end where I'm getting my butt kicked, where I'm getting, all I'm getting is bruises and, pain. I don't mind the pain, but if there's a comfortable way, why not choose that comfortable way, right? To flow with it and just learn the lesson.
For me, the way I articulate it now is with ease. Whatever I ask for, and I do ask lots.
Yeah.
I still ask lots of questions.
Absolutely.
I have lots of dialogue with myself constantly, and people back centuries ago would have been locked up for things like this. Now it's really quite given. I'm sure. Well, I perceive I'm getting away with it, but anyway, that's fine. But that's kind of the playfulness of being human, isn't it, really?
It is.
And we are these, infinite beings having this human experience. So let's not make it as difficult as it needs to be, or let's keep it simple and keep it in flow, like you say. Does that mean there's no roadblocks and there's no boulders in the river? Yes, absolutely there are. Does that mean the tyres don't flatten on the car and all of those sort of things? Absolutely they are. But I love, there's a book that is my little handbook, if you like, in life, and it's called, your body is the barometer to the soul. Mm-hmm. And we have infinite radar systems within our beingness, our senses, our awareness. The more we expand, and in a sense, for me, they're muscles that need exercising, as much as the physical muscles that are the physical body, including the heart needs exercising. It's a muscle also. So all of these things for me come into play in terms of metaphors, and like I live in metaphors. I love it. And so does that, again, externalise? No, it actually reframes for me. Many people I work with in the spaces realm, so as a Feng Shui consultant, you're invited into people's personal space, and that's such a privilege. And on a commercial scale, that's even more amplified, because you're actually then responsible for, in some ways, articulating the nuances of a space that impacts more people. They go then home for their families. So all of that's just beautiful. There's a flow around all of that I can then share in the context of that always makes sense. However much the resistance is, I don't believe in that, that's foo-foo, all of this sort of stuff. When I start speaking about it in the context of a particular space, particularly if it's an asset that someone has invested a lot of money in, and on a repeat cycle of annual rents and all of those sorts of things, or they've got a mortgage attached to it, all of a sudden they stop and listen. Because what then is revealed is something that is personal to them.
Yes.
They have a vested interest in it. And isn't it interesting, when you shared before, you asked the question about, were there moments in time where things actually stopped me in my tracks? Yeah. All of a sudden I became aware I had a vested interest in the outcome. It was a reminder moment.
Yeah. That's
how this is. And that's how this is. Now we're in a reminder moment, cosmically, globally.
Absolutely.
Earth is the spaceship. We're all on it. We're going through space at whatever rate it is. It doesn't really matter. Heading in the same direction. Why aren't we on the same team?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what matters?
It's the journey, which we are doing collectively, and within that journey, when you have thousands of paths, it doesn't make it right or wrong, but the goals somewhere have shifted for certain people, and for people like us, perhaps, our goal is the spiritual awareness and the spiritual, ascension of our soul and our human body. And, along with that, we try and bring in people who we, probably love, and people who matter to us. And we would love to see them on that journey. But then I think after a while, it just becomes very clear to each individual that, you just need to do your journey, and whoever needs to be in that journey with you will be in that journey with you. You don't need to drag along people. You don't need to, bring people in, and a person who wants to be in your life will be there for you. And
in many ways it can be different, because it will evolve, and that's it. The beauty about change is that's the only given.
Yeah.
We hear that all the time.
Yeah.
What I do like, and I love that each day that I get so many little reminders of that come through my feed. Like I'm like, spend a lot of time on the feeds. My feeds for Facebook and Instagram and other platforms are that I become attuned to what reveals. So I don't have anything that is offensive or anything like that come up on my feed. And some people have issues around all of that. You know, the beauty about knowing now what I know in my personal life is that there is always the reflection. However, the reflection may or may not be something that you need to observe, other than you need to acknowledge. You know, like as in, it's not something you necessarily need to buy into.
Yes.
But it can be. It can be just that another defining trigger moment, memory moment. And it's choice. You know, we all have individual choice. To deny someone the choice to be what's right for them is a denial on. Is doing everyone a disservice.
That's right.
You know, the greatest gift we can give someone that we love is to actually allow them to be that who is evolving.
Absolutely. And that's one of the most beautiful gifts, you know, which doesn't require anything. It doesn't cost anything. It's free, and it's, you know, freely available for both the parties involved. So, you know, it's just a matter of making a choice. So I know that you've done, last year you did extensive travel. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were, you know, you've done 3 continents, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true?
It was, it was a fabulous journey. Part of it was consciously planned. Part of it was with the space to free fall.
Okay.
And where I alluded to earlier, that I'm really aware that I'm in preparation now for the next phase of my life, which we all are.
Yes.
Part of that was knowing that the control part of things had to be for obvious reasons, logistical reasons, safety reasons, and to connect with the people that I was choosing to connect with this time around, and you were one of them, obviously. And so they were the not negotiables, if you like, the timing of which wasn't locked in, right?
Yes.
Until the moment when it revealed, and everything revealed in divine order, which is the allowance of allowing that to be. And that sounds like a double allowing something. However, there is that. If you listen to yourself saying it, it'll make sense more so. One of the things I wanted to do was do Tai Chi on the Great Wall of China, and I've wanted to do that since I was doing Tai Chi years ago. You know, so to tick that off, China was on my list. So for me, my neighbour actually said, met her in the car park downstairs, and I said to her, "You're always travelling. When are you going next?" Because I was in that space where that hadn't been available to me for various reasons up until that point. She said, "Just saying, Sally, there's a 2-for-1 deal going to China. Would you like to be my number 2?" And I said, "Yes, please."
Please. There's no question about it.
And that was it. It was having the confidence, the resources, and the timing align for me to be available to go. And so China was my first port of call, and so many things that I wanted to experience in China happened to be on the itinerary. Funny that, no coincidence, right?
Yeah.
And so from there, the trip actually would have brought me back. It was a return trip, all included. And then from there, no, that's not going to work for me, because why would I come back to Sydney if I was going to go on to Europe and the States and all of those places? Yeah. So the next timeline for that was to actually be in the UK for my daughter's birthday and leading into Christmas. So my son lives in London, my daughter lives in York, and so that was the timeline, if you like. Yeah. So from Shanghai, funny, I actually went to a travel expo at the Brisbane Convention Centre once I knew China was on the radar. First person I walked into the massive hall of anything travel was the tourism advocate for Finland. And she said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Well, I'm obviously meaning to have a conversation with you. I wanted to get from Shanghai to Manchester." And she said, "Well, it's so funny that you should ask that, because Finnair actually does that route, and you can have so many days in Helsinki on the way."
Wow.
I know. And like for me, when I put my top value as magic walking, this is literally how it plays out for me. So all I need is just the parameters and filling in the gaps, if you like. It just happens.
Yeah.
So then I rang my travel agent and said, okay, after China, what's available for me in Vietnam? Well, there's one spot left on this particular tour and you're going to go up into Lapland. How would that be for you? I said, that would be magic.
Yeah. And
would I be back in Manchester before my daughter's birthday? Yes, you would arrive back on the Saturday. Her birthday is the Monday. Hello.
Yeah, and I followed that journey, you know, literally as if I was following my own journey, and I've loved every update of it, every lesson from it, and you know, I wouldn't want to change a single thing. It was almost as if, you know what, I was just somewhere in your backpack, you know, doing
it's so funny because I was talking with my Pilates coach yesterday, and I said the same thing to her. She said, Sally, I felt like I was walking with you. I said, no, you were actually there because you reminded me to actually, when I'm walking stairs in my posture and everything else, imagine someone's pulling you up by a piece of string so that you stand tall, so it takes the weight of the muscles that are tiring for you. And so I said that to her yesterday. She said, oh my goodness, you remembered that when you were walking the steps on the Great Wall.